I'd like to talk to you today about writing articles. First, I want to offer why you should write articles to build your profile. Then I want to talk about how to find topics to write about. Then how to write the article. And then finding places to get it published or not published, as the case may be. So let's first talk about why to write articles. I've shared with you in earlier programs that today it's more important that people know you than it is for you to know people. You've got to become visible to your target market. I think you've heard me say that before. Writing is one of the very best ways to become visible to the target market. You can create all kinds of content that draws people to your website bio, as an example, when you're writing. The very most important thing I ever did that took probably the least amount of time was writing a monthly column for a trade publication called Roads and Bridges. So writing is a way to get visible to your target market. That's the reason to do it. Well, what do you write about? How do you find topics? I've shared with you also in previous programs that clients don't care about what we do. They care about their problems, their opportunities, internal changes and external changes that they're facing. So how best to find topics? The first thing you should do is read what they read. The leading publication for construction is Engineering News Record. It's a weekly publication published by McGraw-Hill. It really doesn't have a legal column, but the business articles in the magazine give you an indication of what the legal topics would be. For example, when they're writing about bridges collapsing or cranes collapsing, you know that creates legal topics. When they're writing about shortages of steel and cement, you know that creates legal issues. So read what your clients read. Read what your target market reads. I've also shared with you in previous programs the importance of doing Google alerts. I think I mentioned that I had Google alerts for highway construction, bridge construction, rail construction, mass transit construction, and a variety of other topics. By getting the news on those subject areas, I was able to find potential topics to write about. So we've talked about why to write, we've talked about what to write about. Now let's talk about how actually to write it. There's a consultant named Trey Ryder, and in one of his articles, he suggested that when we write or when we do presentations, that we focus on identifying a problem, proving the problem exists, identifying a solution, proving the solution works, and then by implication, we are the ones to take care of the solution. So for example, using that approach, in the post-Enron era, the Justice Department and the Inspector General of US DOT was going after contractors and doing investigations. So I could identify the problem. The problem was contractors were under far greater scrutiny than ever before. I could prove the problem exists. I could do that by articles in Engineering News Record. I could do that by press releases from the Department of Justice and the Inspector General of US DOT. I could identify the solution being ethics programs, being compliance programs and things like that. I could prove the solution works. I think it's, natural for people to conclude that if you have a ethics program and compliance program, people are far less likely to make mistakes. But also, when you get in trouble, having that set up in the corporation and actually implementing it and monitoring it will mean that you're less likely to have as great a problem. So I've identified the problem, proved the problem exists, identified the solution, proved the solution works. By implication, I'm the one to handle it.